Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world.
Good morning, Dr. Patty. How are you this morning?
Missed you.
We missed you. Welcome back. Everyone missed you. Your fans missed you. Welcome back. I hope you had a good time. Really? Well, all right. Good morning, Tundra Abiola. How are you this morning?
Good morning, darling. You know how I am.
Yes, I do. You know you're a trooper. You know you are.
I really am.
Yes. Do we deserve you?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Good morning, Rufai. How are you this morning? Perfect.
I missed you so much.
Yes,
only you can call Oji that way. But Tundra, I missed your drum roll.
She did really,
so I think you should do the drum roll again.
My daughter actually complimented her. So
Please do the drum roll. The
I
drum
got a very
roll.
special phone call over the weekend.
She did.
Okay.
Yes, Oji's daughter was like, oh, you know, well done. So,
Please do the drum roll. I like the way. Yeah, watch the drum roll. 1, 2, 3, go.
Oji, just play too much.
you know, I can't shout. You know my little situation.
Well.
So
Well done,
improvise.
Okay.
Well done.
Hello, Jinex.
Hello, Janice. Good morning, Dr. Batty again.
Thank you.
Well, all right. Welcome. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United States, the Treasury Department imposed sanctions on 3 government officials, including President George Weah's Chief of Staff, Nathaniel McGill, for what it says is their ongoing involvement in public corruption. Ryan Nelson, the U.S. Treasury Undersecretary for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence, in a statement on Monday, alleged that the officials have undermined democracy in Liberia for their own personal benefit. In Kenya, the country's deputy president, William Ruto, was declared winner of a tight presidential race on Monday. The 55-year-old made the country's class divisions the centerpiece of his campaign to become Kenya's 5th president.
I want to commit to the people of Kenya that I will build on the foundation that President Kenyatta and I put together and take this country to the next level.
In Nigeria, a mammoth crowd gathered to welcome the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, in Yola, the Adamawa state capital, on Monday. The 75-year-old candidate was returning to the state for the first time following his nomination as the party's presidential flag bearer for a second straight time. Under sports, Tottenham boss Antonio Conte and Chelsea's head coach Thomas Tuchel were charged with improper behavior by the Football Association on Monday, following their clash on Sunday after the Premier League match between the 2 London clubs. The charge follows an investigation launched by the FA into Tuchel's post-match comments about referee Anthony Taylor, in which the German suggested that Taylor should not referee Chelsea's matches in the future. Finally, under entertainment, a jury selection in R. Kelly's federal trial on charges that he rigged his 2008 state child pornography trial began on Monday, with the judge and attorneys focusing on whether would-be jurors watched the 2019 documentary Surviving R. Kelly, the latest trial for the disgraced R&B singer, who was sentenced in June to a 30-year prison term for sexually abusing young fans, centers on whether R. Kelly threatened and paid off a girl who was barely 14 years old, whom he allegedly videotaped while having sexual intercourse. At the time, he was 30 years old. Well, let's begin what's trending. The Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, on Monday marked a plan by supporters of presidential candidate of the Labour Party Peter Obi to hold a 2 million man march in the state. In a tweet, El-Rufai, who is of the All Progressives Congress, wrote that he hopes Peter Obi's supporters would gather up to 200 people in the streets of Kaduna for the march, and that the only way Obi's supporters can get the figure they are projecting is by importing people to the state. Well, El-Rufai's comments sparked reactions on social media, with many accusing him of bigotry and being insensitive. In a subsequent tweet, the governor wrote that his Twitter account was reported by one of Obi's supporters in Germany. He then accused the Obedience of being desperate and disagreeable. Well, his tweet read in quote, "The desperation of so-called Obedience knows no bounds. They insult everyone they disagree with, but cannot accept that some find them disagreeable and have opinions too. One of them in Germany found my tweet too hot to handle. Twitter responded below, still they laugh. Well, I'll take a comment from Yusuf, who wrote, that you have to respond to this is a clear indication that you feel super threatened and unsettled. This isn't you disproving or dismissing a fact. This is you yielding to the trepidation that it is possible. Import is a strategy of APC that we won't be employing. Rest. Well, in another development, the convener of Concerned Nigeria, Adeyanju, on Monday placed a bet of $10,000 with supporters of Peter Obi in Nigeria and in the diaspora that their candidate will emerge a distant third in the 2023 elections. The activist went on to provide evidence of payment credited to a former presidential aspirant of the PDP, Dele Momodu, in a post on Twitter, and challenged one of the numerous supporters of Peter Obi, who goes by the name Ben, to honor his words by placing his own bet too. I think this is the hardest I have seen in terms of support. Apparently, some people have already even started donating to that Dele Momodu's account. Dele Momodu has confirmed that he received the $10,000 and also the fact that he's going to, I guess, provide that money at the end of the bet. Tundu Abiola, what do you make of all of the stories?
Well, Dele Momodu will definitely provide the money, that we know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's why he's been trusted to hold this wager. But I just think this is, political season.
Yes.
With regards to Mr. Deji Adeyanju, I think what he's trying to do is put his money where his mouth is and encourage others to do the same. With regards to Nasir, El-Rufai, Governor of Kaduna, what else is he going to say? He's an APC, of course, he's going to laugh you out of town if you suggest that you can have a 2 million march in Kaduna. He's not going to say it's possible. And of course, the obedience are going to say it's possible. Everybody is just really about trying to sell their candidates.
Yes.
That's really the long and short of it.
Yes. You know that Twitter post by Nasir El-Rufai was reported and it was actually flagged. I guess it is hate speech, what he wrote. I don't know what your thoughts are if we have
This is
picture
political season. You don't expect that Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State will support the presidential candidate of an opposing political party. So it's natural for him to say, oh, you can't do 2 million march in Kaduna and get up to 2 million people. And you say, you could see what you wrote there in Kaduna, not Kaduna Twitter, which is one of the things, often said about the Peter Obi campaign, that is more active on social media and that the obedience are all over Twitter. And some have even compared him to George Wajakoya, the candidate of the Roots Party of Kenya, who came, a distant third in the just concluded presidential elections in Kenya with 0.4% of the total votes cast. He too was very active. He had this Million Man March. He was active on Twitter and all of that. But that is neither here nor there. If the followers of the candidate of the Labour Party want to campaign in Kaduna State, as long as they are allowed the freedom to do so, and that Governor El-Rufai does not go beyond his skepticism to do anything to prevent them from doing so, of course, there's no problem with that. So it's just political rhetoric.
Yes.
And what we will say is that all the politicians should keep, their rhetoric at the level of decency, and not go beyond the bounds. As for Deji Adeyanju, I'm surprised. So Deji Adeyanju has $10,000. Some of these boys, I didn't know. When I saw $10,000 that he could just set aside, to gamble, I was surprised. With the situation of things, with inflation, with pandemic of empty pockets. Okay, fine. But however, I know in Nigeria, gambling, online gambling is allowed. We have a National Lottery Commission.
Yes.
But does the law allow gambling around elections? Maybe we take another look at the Electoral Act. Because if we have elections and people are beginning to gamble around it, maybe we should take another look at Section 236 of the Criminal Code. Because certain categories of gambling, are not allowed under the law in Nigeria. And you say that Basharun Dele Momodu is aware that $10,000, has been deposited in his account. Maybe you should take a second look at that. Because all of this could be misinterpreted as money laundering. And he cannot, why should he be the recipient of a gambling, proposition? He himself being, a major stakeholder in this current process. But I just raise questions, about all of this. I mean, I don't know. Gambling, people will now be betting over the outcome of elections. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just raising questions.
Yeah, Deji is sure that he's going to win. He says he wants to use the money for his PhD, I guess.
Oh, okay. That's the source of the money.
Well,
he has $10,000 I can just put somewhere.
No, that's not the source. He's saying he's going to win at the end of the elections, and then he'll use all of the money for his PhD. I don't know the source of his $10,000.
So where shall I start from? Governor El-Rufai?
Yes.
At first, if people say they want to have rallies, people have a right to have rallies anywhere they want in Nigeria during the election. And I don't think, as incumbent on a sitting governor, to come out and say, where are you going to have the rally? His role as the chief security officer is to ensure that people have their rally and they go in peace. So I feel that comment was totally unnecessary. Yes, it's political stump, but he's a governor of a state. Let's also forget that, he's a member of the APC, but he is a governor of a state.
Correct.
And he's a governor that's supposed to oversee. And look at the tweets. I hope you get 200 persons, including those imports that can only open their shops on Monday, that came overnight in the last bus. You see, and that's why the tweet was reported, that can only open their shops on Monday.
Yes, the tweet was reported.
So this is not what we need. We want issue-based campaign. If people want to have their 1 million march rally, let them have it. Only to think this is a governor that he states with grappling with massive insecurity. So he has the time to be throwing political fights and tantrums. So the same governor that wrote a memo the other day that states there's a parallel government.
Yes.
I thought that would keep him busy. I thought that was enough to keep him busy. A governor that came out to tell the whole world that his state has parallel governments can still be saying on Twitter, just they laugh. So his problems are not enough for him than to be abusing another group of people. I'm not saying people, don't have their faults. But I thought a serving governor in a state like Kaduna, that bandits have taken most parts of his state, should be focused on that work. Not having time for Twitter banter. These are things that even if other people do it, you should caution them for.
Right.
And the man that is betting $10,000. What's going on here? What's happening here? In a country where people are struggling to feed? No, now. My brother Adeyanju is an activist. If you say Peter Obi is not going to win, stick by your word. You don't need to put your money where your mouth is and bet on it. Because the $10,000 now, people can now ask you, where's the tax on it? How was it end in the first place? We shouldn't take this politics in overboard that we start to put out things in such a way that people start to look at us. Like Dr. Bati rightly asked, he doesn't even know he has $10,000 to be able to, because somebody that can put out $10,000, he's saying, I want to lose the money. Because you are not short of anything in betting.
Right.
He can support whoever he's supporting and say, I believe Peter Obi will lose. But to the extent of going to pay $10,000 in a country where people are just struggling to live on $1 per day, what message is that one sending to other people?
Well, all right.
What kind of society are we building? And we're cheering them on? No, now. You can support whoever you want to support, have facts and evidence-based campaign and issue-based campaign, but to the extent of betting and showing off wealth.
All right, there'll be more to come, Rufai, I assure you. We'll take another story. A video showing two lecturers of the Rivers State University in Port Harcourt forcefully cutting a female law student's braids with a pair of scissors has caused outrage on social media. It is gathered that the lecturers from the Faculty of Law claimed that braids were inappropriate for the lawyer in training and also goes against the school's dress code for students of the faculty, while many Nigerians have demanded that the lecturers be suspended for brutally assaulting the student. I mean, when I saw this video, I was very upset, Tunde Abiola, really, really upset. I don't know what sort of code or law or whatever it is that they have in their school that would allow these two lecturers manhandle this young student. Till now, I have not gotten a response from the school. I don't have a response yet. I don't know what the action is for these lecturers, but they should be suspended immediately. No.
Well, I'm not sure what their response could possibly be. I guess we'll wait to find out. But this is clearly assault.
Yes.
There are rules in law faculties. They're extremely strict. You can see her wearing her white top and probably a black skirt. When I was in law school, I remember the body of benchers dinner. You had to have your own hair. I remember the call to bar ceremony, you had to have your own hair, which I did, because personally, I have a deep aversion to people being disrespectful to me. You're not going to talk to me any kind of way. So I would try and avoid it and stick to the rules. If that's the rule, that's what it is. But the only penalty for showing up with hair extensions when you're not supposed to have hair extensions is being denied entry. That is all you do. You have no right to take a pair of scissors to somebody's head in this fashion. I think this is actually so awful. Even just watching it,
yes.
She was assaulted in broad daylight. It's completely unnecessary.
I thought I should call out the school really quickly. We'll take our final story that has elicited several reactions. The Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund on Friday, August 13th, raised the alarm that some of the payment vouchers that were supposed to be presented for audit by the Senate Committee on Public Accounts have been eaten by termites. Appearing before the committee on Friday, the organization failed to justify the spending of 17.16 billion naira in 2013 with the required documents. The money, as stated in the 2018 audit report of the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation, was the total amount transferred by the organization from its bank accounts into various untraceable accounts belonging to individuals and companies from January to December 2013. Dr. Abati, over to you. We've heard everything. We've heard from gorillas to snakes and now termites.
Well, first, what led to this was the report of the Office of the Auditor General, auditing accounts. And we always say that Office of the Auditor General of the Federation, should always be very active, should be proactive. Otherwise, if there had been no audit, which was the case for many years, nobody was auditing anything, this will not come to the surface. And some of the revelations indicate that, okay, money could not be accounted for. Money that moved from one bank into personal accounts and into other accounts. And so the Office of the Auditor General queried this, and the Senate Committee on Public Accounts has taken it up. 3 different former managing directors of the Social Insurance Trust Fund showed up before the committee, and the old ones, were saying, oh, we kept records. We had containers in which we kept records. In 21st century, people leading strategic offices in Nigeria, they are talking about keeping documents inside containers. Okay, what happened to computerization that government had been talking about forever? What happened to those computers? Now, the current head of the agency says no, he didn't meet any documents. The old ones were saying we left documents, and now the committee has adjourned the meeting of the committee till September 22 with a strict instruction that all these former managing directors must provide the evidence to back up over 17 billion naira that has disappeared. Now, serious matter, very serious matter, an indication of mismanagement, misappropriation, misapplication of public funds. This time around, we were told it's termites that ate the money by the current head of the agency. Now, the other day we were told that snake stole money at another public agency. On another occasion, we were told monkeys, also made away with money. It looks like the best thing to be in Nigeria is to be either a termite or a monkey or a snake. And one actor, Okpe, was quoted, I think, on social media this morning, saying that, in fact, he wants to become a termite. Well, Okpe, if you are listening to me, you are not alone. That formula you want to use. Some of us too will join you and become termites. Because it looks like if you are a termite or a monkey or a snake in Nigeria, you will have more access to resources.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Isn't this very strange?
El-Rufai, really quick.
It's quite funny, but it's not funny.
Yeah.
And it is very sad that we've built a country where incompetence stares at all of us in the face. I mean, how can you even come out to say a termite has eaten it up? We've come to a digital era in the world, and I don't see why government records should not be digitized to avoid termites, snakes, monkeys, or anything. If the disbursement was made and the record was digitized, we will not have this. So what's the solution? I don't see why we can't have a government cloud or interministerial cloud service where most government records should be digitized. And not just only these incumbent government records, colonial government records. I go to the National Archives a lot in Ibadan and Enugu, and I'm shocked the way our records are treated. I'm sure termites have even eaten most part of the records in the National Archive because they are not digitized. So digitization should be the watchword to prevent things like this.
Very well said. Quickly.
I think it's important to say what the NSITF is about and what it does, because it's very important work. It's to compensate Nigerian workers for work-related injury, disability, or death. Employers are to pay a mandatory amount depending on, well, it starts around 1% mandatory, so that if, in case of any, unforeseen disasters, you're covered. That is what it's about. It's such a beautiful, practicable, wonderful concept, and look at how it's been abused.
This should not be happening.
Awful.
Well, thank you all for your great analysis as always, and welcome back again.
We'll join those of us aspiring to become termites.
No, I want to be Ginix forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending Today. I'll see you tomorrow.